Hello everyone, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Jacob.
And this is Meeple Leaf Reviews. Today we're doing a full review of Sola Fide, the Reformation.
A two-player game.
From Stronghold Games.
Right.
This is one I picked up in Essen. So let's just dive right in and see what I think, or what we think. It's all about me.
Yeah, it's a one-sided conversation, it sounds like.
So let's dive right into art and components. My favorite bit of artwork in this game is the box cover.
Okay.
Yeah,
the box art does look just classy.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
You see this on the shelf, you're like, ooh, what's in this box? Yeah. But once you...
Casts a little intrigue.
Yeah, but once you open the box, I found the art is... Well, it has on all the cards, it has different either artwork or portraits of different people from the Reformation era. Mm-hmm. But nothing is really exciting. The board doesn't look very exciting either.
Very bland, neutral colors, kind of all pastel beiges.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's not exciting.
Yeah, no, it doesn't jump out at you. But I wasn't looking at the game going, oh man, this artwork is horrible. I can't stand playing this. Yeah. I was just like, I didn't even notice it.
I will say the cardboard tiles are very thick and good quality, and the card stock for all the cards in the game, because that's the majority of the components is cards, they're very nice cards.
Yep. Standard chunky cubes.
Yeah.
Everything was fine.
All right, so next to the theme. So the theme is one person plays the Protestants, the other person plays the Catholics, and you're vying for control of these different imperial circles. Different regions on the board. Once you've gained control, you'll take that tile, and each tile has victory points on them. Mm-hmm. I didn't really feel the theme when I was playing the game. The theme was interesting to me, and the game even comes with a rule book that explains all the different pieces on the card, or events, or people, and how they were a part of the Reformation.
Right. A little history lesson.
Yeah. Well, the accompanying book is actually thicker than the rule book.
Right.
But yeah, once I started playing the game, I didn't really feel the theme coming through. It was more of an abstract.
Yeah, I also felt like it was an abstract, though I can see the theme in the game, and how the mechanisms revolve around that theme makes sense for the most part, except for maybe... when you have taken a tile, or you take that tile off the board and the other person can't do anything about it anymore. Yeah, well, I think in real life, you would still be able to get in there, and I guess maybe it's theme-wise, they've given up on that territory.
Yeah. But so then on to rules and teaching. I found the rulebook was very well written. I didn't really have any questions about any of the mechanisms or gameplay after I read it. And teaching it, I taught it to 2 people, and it just went very easy. You just explain a couple rules, and boom, you're playing pretty quickly. Yeah,
I didn't look at the rule book at all, but from you teaching me the game, everything was very straightforward, simplistic. There was maybe a question, 1 or 2 questions just about terminology and what that meant as a refresher. But other than that, very simple.
All right, so let's jump into the meat of this review.
Right.
The gameplay and mechanisms. Mm-hmm. Did you want to start off?
Okay. I found it very one-dimensional. The game to me seemed very much like a tug of war.
Yes.
I'm gonna play this and add a cube to this side of the battle. And then you're going to play one to add it to the other side. And then I'm going to move this slider over to the commons so that I can win it there. And then you're going to slide it back towards nobility. It's just back and forth. I play a card, you play a card. We do the same thing back and forth. And I mean, there are multiple maps that you can target. So if you were working on one, I could just let you do that if I wanted. And I could work on another one. But essentially, at some point, there's going to be, okay, I need to stop him from doing that. I'm going to play a card. And then it's just a tug of war.
Yeah, I found exactly that. It is very tug of war-ish. And I actually preferred it when there were fewer tiles revealed on the board.
Sure.
Because you have 3 at the beginning. And like you said, one person can do something on one, the other person can do something on the other. And they're not really interacting at all.
Right.
But there was one game where it came down to the final tile when that one was left. And it's just you're just back and forth. You can't get control of that as easily because that's the only one people are fighting over.
Exactly.
And that was my most enjoyable part of the game was when there was fewer tiles and we were more head-to-head trying to block you to get the advantage, and it was just... That was my favorite.
Yeah, I would say I always had a laugh at those moments, just because it's like I play this and then this and then this, and then it's just like this back and forth, and it's a little entertaining, but it's also, was it monotonous?
Yeah, you're just doing the same things.
Yeah.
You're either claiming territories on the nobility side, claiming territories on the commoner side, or moving where the power rests, and if you ever have all the territories on one side and the power is on that side, you claim the tile.
Exactly.
So there's not a whole lot of things that you're manipulating on this board. The other thing that goes with that is card advantage. This game is all, once you get into those tug of wars, if someone doesn't have any cards in their hand or has very few and you have the cards you need to take over, well, they're going to fall behind. Because on your turn, you either play a card or you have to waste that turn and just draw a card up.
Exactly.
So getting cards to draw you more cards or to have... I found when I wanted to take over territory, I needed to have everything in my hand...
To do it.
And maybe even...
Plus extra to stop your opponent.
Exactly. So it's not like...
Right.
It's not costing you something, right? You're playing these cards and then they're gone out of your hand, and you're going to either have to get more cards to draw more cards or waste actions drawing them. So it isn't as easy to just, I'll just waste a card over in here to mess you up. But what if I needed that card to take over the territory I wanted to?
Right.
And if you don't have the cards you need to take over a territory, there's no point to even start it.
Right.
Because you're giving your opponent more time to mess up your plan there.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to like put one down just to get it started, but like that's the extent of all you're going to do, and then maybe draw their attention to something else. But I found that never worked.
No.
There aren't enough locations that are being contested to like distract someone from, they're not going to see what you're going to do. They know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into the next point I wanted to bring up was the asymmetrical gameplay.
Okay, yeah.
Because one person is the Catholics, one person's the Protestants, and what is each side trying to do? Well, we're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
How did you feel the ways they went about doing that? Do you think they were very different?
Okay, well, I, just as a caveat here, I only actually played the game twice. Once as each side.
Yeah, and I will...
You've played it like 8 times now?
No, I think I've played it 4 or 5, but I will put a picture up of my gameplay statistics, which will show my plays.
Okay.
For that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that I was doing the same thing on both sides. They tried to do a military on one side, and then the other side gets a bonus, a random bonus that can balance that out because the military cards are very powerful. So that was like a kind of the only dominating force that I noticed were those cards because they were so powerful.
Yeah.
And then it's just random chance that you might get something as the other side.
I didn't find them very asymmetrical much at all.
No.
The one thing I found, the Catholic players are good at taking over 2 territories at one card play, because most cards just do 1 at a time. Catholics can do 2 at once, and that's one of those war cards.
Yeah.
And then the Protestant player are good at taking over neutral territories. But other than that, the differences didn't seem all that evident. So it felt like I was just playing basically the same side and just doing the same thing.
Yeah, just very few cards. There's some permanent cards that you can put down on the table, and then they just have an ability that's constantly active. Whenever an opponent or you do a specific action, it triggers some event. Those, I think, were unique between the 2 sides as well.
Well, that's actually, you're leading right into the next point very well.
I planned it. Mind reader here.
The other thing that this game has is sort of a pseudo deck building. Where you can, once you played the intro game where it tells you what cards to use, you can build your own deck. There's 45 cards for each side. You draw 3, you choose 1, and you discard the other 2. And you do that, and you'll have a 15-card deck, which you'll go through several times throughout the game. The one thing that I feel this deck building kind of lacks is there's no real interaction between the players during this deck building. I don't know what you're choosing, and certain decks in my cards kind of counter what you can choose. But I don't know you're choosing that, so why would I choose that card, right? For the one that comes to mind is I could play a persistent event that limits you changing influence in multiple Imperial circles at once.
Sure, yeah.
But if you never take any of those cards in your deck, then I've just wasted one of my 15 cards in my deck.
Exactly.
So it's more about deck building for what you want to do rather than countering what your opponent wants to do.
Right. And I mean, you could mitigate that in the drafting by, and it's not really drafting, I don't even know what you would call it, but I take my one card and you put the other two down, and your opponent can see those two cards that you didn't take.
Yeah.
And through a process of elimination. But the amount of time that would take to just read over all your opponent's cards as well as yours as you're picking.
And you would need to know what all the cards are off by heart.
Yeah, like that would take forever just to set up the game. I don't know it'd be worth it.
No, and I think with how the game is currently, that deck building goes pretty fast. I think it takes about 4 to 5 minutes, and then you're playing. I wouldn't want to spend 20 minutes
doing 20-minute pregame.
No. The other thing about the deck building that you can really mess yourself up on is if you don't take certain cards, there's no way to get those cards into your deck later. Yep. So if you can't adjust different things, you're at a disadvantage. So you really need to take a variety of different cards when you're doing that deck building.
Yeah, I think there's only one, maybe two in the Protestant deck where the first time you could play it, you could draw a card that you didn't take during the draft and add that card in and discard the card you used to pull that card.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're pretty much messed up if you didn't pull the right cards.
Right. So anything else you wanted to talk about with the gameplay?
Well, I wanted to talk about, I feel like the game plays you a lot of the times. You're at the mercy of the cards that you're drawing. Like you build your deck.
Yeah.
Okay. But now I'm drawing cards, and let's say I draw 3 cards and they're all nobility. Add 1 influence to the nobility side. I can't affect the commoner side.
Yeah.
I only have cards that do nobility. So I'm forced to do nobility now. I need to choose which area I want to do nobility.
Yeah,
I feel like the game is guiding you or playing you as you're playing through the game.
Yeah, and when you can't do what you need to do, or you don't have the cards to do what you need to do, you're just drawing. Like I said, I feel like it comes to a point in the game where I can't take over a circle, so I'm going to draw up until I get the cards where I can, and then this tug of war starts. And hopefully that I can get mine done to take the circle before you can.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it comes down to. Who can run the other person out of their cards on a circle first? So yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So do you want to move on to the next category?
Okay.
Price point for the game is $45 Canadian.
Right.
You get 108 cards in the deck, some wooden tokens, cardboard tiles. How do you feel about that price point for the game?
Well, first off, price is extremely important to me, and it's irrelevant to you.
It depends. For me, it's if the gameplay is worth it, I can go to a much higher price point, regardless of what the components in the game are. Unless someone just printed it off.
Right. So for $45, you said?
Yeah.
$45. I mean, you're getting some decent components.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong there. You're getting a bunch of thick, chunky cardboard pieces. But for the gameplay that's there, I don't feel like the gameplay stands up to that price point. Right. I wouldn't buy this game for that price just because I don't think there's enough game there to match. Components aren't drawing me in. You know, there isn't some flashy artwork that I'm like, ooh, yeah, I want this. Right? It's just kind of meh.
Yeah. I feel similar. I think I would be more comfortable with this game at around a $30 price point.
25 to 30 for me.
Yeah. For 45, I'm a bit iffy, but I'll discuss that in my final rating.
Okay. Should we head there right now?
Let's head there right now. Okay. So my final rating for this game is going to be a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
The reason for that, I think the mechanisms in the game are sound. Everything works. But the gameplay is just missing something to take it to that next level. Every game feels very similar.
Yes.
to the last game, even playing the different sides, I never sit down and be like, oh yeah, I'm the Catholics this time. I'm getting up ready for a very different gameplay than the Protestants.
Right.
It feels very, very, very similar to me. I liked it, and for that reason, I liked it more after my first play than I have after subsequent plays, because as I played more, I didn't discover the depth that I thought would be in the game.
Sure.
So had I rated this after my first play, it probably would have been like an 8. But after more plays now, it's gone down because I'm just not discovering the depth that I was hoping would be in this game.
Interesting.
And I'm not really sure how many more times it's gonna hit the table.
Right.
Like I said, I think the mechanisms in the game are very sound, but it's just missing something is to put it over the edge to make me want to bring it out and play it a bunch.
Right. So after my 2 plays, the reason why I only played this 2, I didn't want to play it anymore. I felt like it was very one-dimensional. It's just this tug-of-war of going back and forth, and there wasn't enough there to keep me interested. I wanted to give this game a 5 out of 10.
Right.
And as we've been talking and discussing the game, I've just like my image has been lowering. I'm actually going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's like a horrible game. It's like you said, the mechanisms are there. It's functional. It works. There's some entertaining moments, but it's just this tug of war. Yeah. And it's a little boring, and the game is playing you. There isn't enough there to intrigue me and keep me involved in the game.
Right.
So 4 out of 10 for me.
All right. Well, that's our ratings for Sola Fide, the Reformation. If that sounded interesting to you, I don't think we made it sound very interesting. But like I said, I think the mechanisms are there. It's just not a game for me because there's nothing really no depth or excitement to pull me into it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That always helps us out.
Yep. You can also follow us on Twitter at MeepleLeaf, and you can go to the description down below and go to Board Game Links. Give us some hearts so other people can find these reviews.
All right. See you guys next time.
Take care.